it wasn't that long ago that DC tried to push their new Trinity. They decided that, since Marvel failed miserably with their all new, all different, all diverse heroes, that, hey, maybe we should get in on that too. Maybe we should push a bunch of new age heroes who have done nothing to make themselves notable by just swapping them in for our current Trinity and best-selling heroes, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. So they figured, why don't we give everybody a black Batman, guessing is like native, not native, I guess it's like probably from like the Amazon or something, rainforest, Wonder Woman, and a gay Superman, and figured that'll go over real well. Well, it failed miserably, and CBR has come up with an article that I'm going to go through and give my thoughts on as they point out as to why DC's Legacy Trinity failed. Let's get into it. DC's Legacy Trinity. Why it failed. Jon Kent, Jace Fox, and Yara Flor were meant to be DC's next big stars. However, they never filled Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman's shoes. Gee, I wonder why. I really, really wonder why. Let's go through and I'll give you some more information about it. In 2021, DC doubled down on pushing its legacy characters a lot harder than it had since the start of the New 52 in 2011. Among the new crop of heroes, only three received a solo ongoing series. Jon Kent, aka Gay Superman, Jace Fox, aka Black Batman, and Yara Flor, aka New Wonder Girl, were meant to be the new and definitive Legacy Trinity. Well, that didn't work. Over the course of 2021, DC launched Superman Son of Kal-El by Tom Taylor and John Timms, I Am Batman by John Ridley and Oliver Coipel, and Wonder Girl by Joel Jones. None of these books would last past issue number 18. Gee, I wonder why. In 2023, none of these characters has the all-star status that DC hoped for, but each member of this trinity has their own meta-narrative of highs and lows and a unique reason why readers as a whole didn't take to them. So they're going to go through each one of them, and I'm going to read what they have, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on exactly why none of them worked. Son of Kal-El. Jon Kent isn't exactly one of DC Comics' greatest failures. Well, that's already a lie, but everything is relative. When Jon Kent first debuted in 2015, he was the 10-year-old son of Lois Lane and Clark Kent, equal parts adorable and cool and an instant fan favorite. He quickly received a starring role in both Rebirth Superman and Rebirth Action Comics, as well as a leading role in Super Sons, which teamed him up with Batman's son Damian Wayne. The dynamic between Jon and Damian and the silly but heartfelt adventures he shared with Damian helped skyrocket his popularity even further. Okay, I'll stop there for a moment. Yes, when he first was introduced and he started off in Super Sons and things, I liked Jon Kent character. I thought it was refreshing to see. But that didn't last for me, and I wasn't surprised by what they ended up doing to it. But let's continue on and see what they have to say. While no character is universally beloved, it was difficult to find DC fans Jon hadn't won over. This all changed when Brian Michael Bendis took over the Superman books and Jon was aged up from 10 to 17. In contrast to the near universal praise Jon received in his early years, this new version of him was met with a much colder response. In the eyes of fans, Jon Kent had lost his personality, his charm, and his dynamic with Damian Wayne, and readers hadn't even gotten to see him grow up. He also was no longer as heavily featured in Superman or Action Comics as he had been, and Super Sons was cancelled despite solid sales. Instead, Jon was made the star of the newest Legion of Superheroes reboot. Hated by Jon Kent fans and Legion fans alike, this book was cancelled after only 12 issues. Okay, so stop there again for a moment. Super Sons had some decent sales. Was it like a record-breaking thing? No. but it had the opportunity and the potential to grow. That didn't happen. I've said this before. I said it. I still have to say it again. I'll have to say it another time. What I noticed when it came to the Super Sons was that Jon Kent's character started to just change from who he was to just becoming baby Superman. And I started to realize that with this going on now, they could pretty much change him into anything that they wanted. So when Brian Michael Bendis came in, I am telling you that I'm quite certain he was given a directive that they wanted him to age up Jon Kent. Why? Because, like I said, when it comes to the Jon Kent and how his character started to change, when they decided to age him up, he became a blank slate. He had no personality, no charm, no nothing. You understand me? So because of that, they could pretty much do whatever the hell they wanted with it. He became like the Miles Morales of DC. So they knew well under that once they could age him up, they could start to change him in any way that they wanted. When he went off to the whole Legion of Superheroes thing, you understand me, with them, and I think Wonder Girl had a crush on him all and she was kind of good and all that stuff. Okay. All this time, however, there was no hint, nothing whatsoever of any kind of queer. I just can't put it out there. No kind of gayness whatsoever when it came to Jon Kent. But because it's DC, they needed to change that. Let's go on. Jon's solo book in Infinite Frontiers, Superman Son of Kal-El, was initially met with a lukewarm response and equally middling sales. Yeah, because it started off terribly. You had Jon Kent telling his father that, he should do more. Saving the universe, saving the earth, being the greatest hero ever. None of that is good enough. He needs to go and fight climate change and the housing market and protests and all kind of nonsense that made absolutely no sense. And this is what pissed people off. So what did Tom Taylor decide to do? The only thing every comic book does nowadays is continue on. However, everything changed again with Superman Son of Kal-El number 5. When Jon came out of the closet as bisexual, no, it's gay, because you'll never see him touch a woman again. The book attracted a surge of new readers and a more favorable fan response for the next few issues, but it was short-lived. Let me stop right there. I said this when I talked about this whole thing when he came out of the closet and all of this nonsense. People bought that book because they wanted to own the issue that DC used to shoot themselves in the foot. At this point in time, DC was trying to push Jon Kent as their flagship Superman, right? Kal-El was off-world or on War-World doing gladiator-style shit, and they were trying to push Jon as their flagship hero. So people bought that book because they wanted to say, you know what, in a few years, this might very well be worth something. Let's get that. And you had Tom Taylor out there with a rainbow-colored Superman symbol, all kind of stuff. They were pushing that hard. But the reason why people first bought that book, it went up to number 2. The second for issue 6 now, people were looking to see if they were going to do anything worse. No. By issue 7, we're just back down in the gutters once again. Readers still found the story bland and directionless. They wish Jon had been paired with an existing hero instead of an OC as his boyfriend. And while Team Jon finally had a personality, no, he didn't. It wasn't one fans liked. During this time, Jon got a chance neither of the other members of the Legacy Trinity did when he took over the main Superman book. However, it finished at issue number 15, and it's safe to say Jon wasn't strong enough to carry that weight. No, had you done Jon Kent properly and built up the character, you would have gotten something out of him. Like I said, with the whole Super Sons thing, they could have run Super Sons for some years. Had he and Damian worked together, grow, learn, then they could have started their own superhero team, kind of like Young Justice or Teen Titans or something like that. They could have started to grow and build. You could have had adventures with them. No, you didn't do that. You did that. So you destroyed Jon Kent all on your own. The next Batman and Wonder Girl. Let's get into Black Batman. Jace Fox debuted in 1979, but between then and 2021, he made fewer than a dozen appearances and was largely irrelevant to DC's continuity and status quo. Yeah, he's one of the Fox brothers, and that's a whole drama in itself. When DC announced that he would be the new Batman in both Future State and Infinite Frontier, there was a mixed reaction from fans. Some readers were excited by the prospect of a Black Batman, but others wondered why he was taking precedence over Batman's long-established cast of fan favorites. Future State, the next Batman by John Ridley and Nick Darrington, was met with favorable reviews from fans. No, it wasn't. And critics are like, no. And fans were looking forward to Jace's reintroduction to the main DCU. No, it wasn't. After the limited series, the next Batman, Second Son by Ridley and Tony Atkins came out. That excitement largely vanished. Jace's backstory proved controversial. The depiction of the characters like Lucius Fox, Rennie Montoya, and Katana was seen by many as character assassinations, and the long scenes of endless dry dialogue made it seem like Ridley had little interest in telling a superhero story. That's because he really doesn't. Sales rapidly plummeted to levels far below standard for any book with Batman in the title, but DC gave Jace one more shot with his ongoing series I Am Batman by Ridley and Travel Foreman. While the book lasted 19 issues, it faced even harsher criticism for the same laundry list of problems and struggled in sales throughout almost the entirety of its run. Okay, let me start off by saying, Jace Fox as Batman made no sense from the very beginning, none. Bruce Wayne is Batman. If you wanted him to be a hero, you could have had him be a hero. There are other people in the Bat family, even if Signal was black, and Signal never really made sense to me as a hero, but whatever. You could have done that. You even had Lucius Fox, other son, he was Batwing. You understand? But no, you wanted a Black Batman, so you tried to force this. It didn't work. They talk about depiction of characters like Lucius Fox. Yeah, what did Lucius Fox do? You literally got to find that, Lucius Fox hated his kids, hated his wife, stole all of Bruce Wayne's money, and then ran off. Yeah, that's a brilliant depiction of Lucius Fox. And Rennie Montoya, who did that, pretty much made insufferable. And then Katana, well, that was a waste of time to begin with. But that's what they were doing. And then in order to top it off, you had John Ridley working on this book. A man who I should have, he doesn't seem to like writing superhero stories at all. And if you actually sat down and actually read any issue of I Am Batman, because I have actually read probably about three issues of it that I've read. Some long, god-awful, dry dialogue, giant word bubbles filled with a bunch of unnecessary crap that you could have actually sorted out just like 2 sentences, but no. It made no sense. Then they moved him to New York City, and it just kept getting worse. And like I said before, many of them, I just hope the Ninja Turtles would kick his ass over there, and that would be the end of it. You tried to have 2 Batmen, it didn't work. It did not work, and I'm going to get to why this never makes sense for all 3 of them just now. But let's get to Yara Flor. Yara Flor, the new Wonder Girl, made one of the biggest splashes of any new character in years at her debut. Illustrated beautifully, her premise as an indigenous Brazilian who hailed from a tribe of Amazons from the Amazon rainforest was seen as brilliant. No, it wasn't. And she even had her own TV series announced as in development. Fans couldn't wait to meet her, but the new Wonder Girl ran into trouble almost immediately. While the general response to Yara Flor during Future State was positive, she was billed as the new Wonder Girl, much like Jon and Jace were the new Superman and Batman. It's not surprising that fans were confused when DC announced that she'd be starting in the main DCU as Wonder Girl instead. Yara's creator, Joelle Jones, wasn't an indigenous Brazilian herself, And there were several inaccuracies in the way Yara and her culture were presented. Of course, this upset the fans Yara should have appealed to the most. No, it didn't. Come on now. When a solo title written and drawn by Jones was released, fans and critics couldn't compliment the art enough, but fans called the plot and Yara's character dull, and the continued cultural inaccuracies further frustrated fans. The attempt to excuse some of these issues with the revelation that Yara had grown up in Idaho only made matters worse. Wonder Girl was cancelled after only 7 issues, but it should be noted that it was actually the most consistent seller of the Legacy Trinity's ongoing. Excuse me. While Wonder Girl sales were on the decline by its final issue, it only ended so quickly because Jones was no longer able to write the story. Okay, let me start off by saying, Yara Flor's design was absolutely beautiful. That's just like different. Her design was absolutely beautiful. She was modeled after, I think it was a supermodel. Her design was absolutely beautiful. The story made absolutely no sense. Amazons are Greek mythology. What in the name of God were they doing in the Amazon rainforest? I don't freaking know. You understand me? I have absolutely no freaking clue. Then the whole thing about her growing up in Idaho and speaking Portuguese, which was it didn't make any kind of sense at all. They even tried to push a TV series for her without ever having fleshed out the character, basically because people like the way that she looked. They figured, we could write that into the bank and cash that check before anybody realized that this whole thing made absolutely no sense. What they could have done with Yara Flor, she didn't have to be Wonder Girl at all. She didn't have to be that Wonder Girl at all. It could have been that, okay, it had a tribe of warriors in the Amazon, not Amazon warriors, a tribe of warriors in the Amazon rainforest. And probably had some kind of, spiritual deity that they had, and she was descended from that tribe. And she was getting probably like visions and things to go there. And when she went, the spiritual entity or goddess, whatever you want to call it, bestowed some power onto her. And then, you had somebody training her. She had to learn a that would have actually made a somewhat decent story. But no, you wanted to push this girl as the new Wonder Girl, even though you already have a Wonder Girl. You have Cassie. Plus, you even have, Troya. All this other, it didn't make any kind of sense. You didn't need a new Wonder Girl, but that is what they were trying to push. Let me just get to what it is I want to say in regards to all of them. Let me get to what I want to say in regards to all of them. What destroyed this Trinity, this so-called new Trinity that DC was trying to do, is that DC was trying to actually trying to have them replace the actual Trinity. That was their biggest mistake to begin with. That was their biggest mistake. Batman is Bruce Wayne. Superman is Clark Kent / Kal-El. And Wonder Woman is Diana. That is the Trinity. What you could have done with this, starting with Black Batman, he should have never been Batman at all. He could have been a superhero on his own. He could have been like, some kind of technical genius, good at fighting, whatever. And Batman could have probably just given him some kind of training or something like that. But then he became his own original hero. Same thing with Jon Kent. You could have built him up through Super Sons. Have him and Damian start their own superhero team. And then, he could have said, what? I don't want to be Superman. I will be my own unique character, get my own unique name. He could have even, okay, because he's half human and half Kryptonian, the Kryptonian side of him is influencing his human DNA. So he's a bit more evolved as a human, and he has some unique powers that most humans would develop like in the next 2,000-3,000 years or something like that. Something to build it on. And then you have Yara Flor. Like I said, she did not have to be Wonder Girl. She could have been a hero all her own. The problem is that they were trying to just shoehorn these people in without having them actually do anything to warrant or deserve what they were getting. No, you need to slowly build these characters up as their own unique heroes, and then you would have had something to hold on to and actually work with. But you didn't do that. You tried to shoehorn them and it didn't even work. And you tried to make Yara Flor the new Wonder Girl. It doesn't work. I mean, they even have this thing where the new Wonder Girl is Wonder Woman's daughter in the future. She's just an absolute and utter insufferable pain in the ass. You know, it doesn't make sense. You keep trying to get rid of your actually established Trinity without actually realizing nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. People want new characters. People want to see new creativity. But because you're also creatively bankrupt, all you want to do is just push one thing and hope and pray to God it works out somewhere down the road. This little Trinity that couldn't was doomed to fail from the very beginning. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell if I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.